New South Wales Labor is defending its decision to invest in a new fleet of buses while shelving 2 metro lines linking Sydney's west to the new Western Sydney Airport. Julia Bradley is following the election campaign for us. Julia, even some Labor MPs are opposed to the move.
Well, that's right, Kieran. There's been plenty of discussion today about this pledge from Labor leader Chris Minns to invest in the state's bus network, at the same time shelving a piece of transport infrastructure that was committed by the Perrottet government for people in Western Sydney. So Chris Minns today announcing that if he is elected to government on March the 25th, his government would spend $300 million on a new fleet of rapid buses, 84 locally manufactured buses that would connect parts of Sydney's west, Campbelltown, Liverpool, Penrith, to that new airport at Badgerys Creek in Sydney's west, set to be completed by 2026. But at the same time, he said he'll shelve 2 out of 4 metro links that have been designed to do the same thing, so ferry people from these areas to the airport and vice versa. And Chris Minns has said that he wants to do this because he says those metro links would not be completed by the time that the airport opens. He's also suggested this is more fiscally responsible, but there has been a lot of opposition to this plan from local mayors and also reportedly from some Labor MPs as well, who've suggested that it's short-sighted. Here was Chris Minns' response to that today.
I think people in Western Sydney know that governments have to detail how they'll build infrastructure. You cannot stand up in front of millions of people in New South Wales and promise infrastructure that you've got no intention of building. And being honest about the budget situation, the massive debt New South Wales is in, and making decisions about the future of infrastructure for the state is the responsible thing to do.
Now, as expected, the government has slammed Labor's decision to do this and also suggested that that promise to create a new fleet of rapid buses would actually cost closer to $1.6 billion rather than the $300 million that Chris Minns is committing to. But he has said today that that is just a starting point, $300 million, and then after 3 years has passed, they'd then be looking to invest more in the project and also potentially looking for investment from the federal government. But the state government's coming under fire, even though it's committed to those 4 metro links, over exactly when they'd all be completed and how much this is all going to cost and exactly where the money would come from.
They will be able to get anywhere across that main western line to St Mary's and get on a brand new metro just like this and get to the airport swiftly. And anybody outside of that who don't get serviced by that metro line will just have to go to Strathfield or Central, and they'll be able to get out to St Mary's. But the option will be, as we've committed to, they'll also be able to get the option to get on a zero-emission bus until the rest of that metro network has been completed.
And Julia, Labor has received some pretty good polling today.
It has, Kieran. We are less than 4 weeks out from the state election, and certainly a boost to Chris Minns' campaign today. A new Resolve political monitor that's been conducted for 9 newspapers has suggested Labor is in that election-winning position, possibly pointing to them being able to get the 47 seats that it needs to govern in its own right, suggesting that there is going to be a swing to Labor of about 7% this election. It looks at primary votes, suggesting Labor's primary vote has increased 1 point to 38%, while the coalition has slipped 2 points to 32%. But on a preferred premier basis, Dominic Perrottet still is in the lead at 38%, compared with Chris Minns' 34%, although both leaders have gained 5 percentage points compared with when that last survey was done by Resolve in January. Chris Minns has said that he's not going to be swayed by this polling, suggesting he's focusing on the job at hand.
Polling's going to come and go. This election will come down to the wire. It's absolutely going to be a nail-biter, and no one's cast a vote yet, so it's all to play for. But we're expecting an uphill battle. We're up for the challenge.
So the election campaign really heating up today on both sides, Kieran. It's clear that this debate about how both parties would fund their infrastructure projects continues to be at the forefront.
Indeed, 24 days to go, not long. Julia, thank you.